But before that, yeah. Hey guys, my name is Ali, Alistair, for those of you who don't know me. I'm 22 years old, just graduated, and yeah, trying to find a job. So if any of you guys know any software engineers, just please let me know. That'd be great. And yeah, I'm here to give you guys just a really quick.
Sorry, would you microphone not too close? We can't really too much.
Is this better? That's better. Okay. I'm here to just give you guys a very quick 20-minute morning inspiration. This is not Divine Principle exclusive, but just some life inspiration that I've been feeling recently, and I just wanted to spread to you guys today. So, I wanted to be sneaky and not share my title. Just to begin, I just want to do a very quick 1 to 2 minute exercise. And what I want you guys to do is to just visualize the most important thing, persons in your life right now. Just visualize it, see it in your head. Okay, now once you have it, maybe think of a happy time, wholesome moment, a good experience that you had with that person or thing. Okay, now this next part might be a bit difficult, but I want you to imagine that that thing, person or persons doesn't exist anymore. It's not there. How do you feel now? What kind of emotions?
Empty.
Okay, now come back to reality. Maybe take a sigh of relief because we do live in reality where they do exist and that is there. How do you guys feel now? Relieved? Glad? Grateful. Awesome. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, grateful, right? Because that is the reality that we do live in. We have things of value. We have things to be grateful for, things that we are truly blessed with. And I think, because we have those things in our lives, because they are a constant factor, we see them every day, they are there, we naturally and obviously take them for granted. And, only by doing what we just did and practicing some gratitude, we can remind ourselves of their value and remember how blessed we are to have them. So, yeah, on top of reminding us of the value that we possess in our lives, I think gratitude can also help in other areas of our lives. And I believe practicing gratitude regularly can really impact our lives for the better and make us happier people. So, that brings me on to the topic that I want to talk about, and that is gratitude, a life filled with peace and joy. So, as I've established in the intro, gratitude can remind us of value. And I would now like to just further emphasize this point with my own personal story. Now, last September, my lovely dad, who's just over there at the back of the room, he had a little oopsie. He passed out actually in our living room, and hit his head very hard on our living room table. And I was asleep at the time, and I woke to the sound of a really loud bang, and I run downstairs, things are in disarray, my mom's going crazy, and yeah, my dad is just lying on the floor trying to speak. And in this moment, as I'm frantically trying to help, I'm calling an ambulance, I start to, maybe think that something bad's really happening. Maybe my dad is going through maybe he's having a stroke or something like that. And, I started for a very brief moment, I'm thinking, wow, okay, things might be completely different from this moment onwards. This is a very potentially serious event. So the ambulance comes, and thankfully Dad starts speaking again, and everything seems okay again. And when the ambulance leaves, I go upstairs, and for me, I pray, and I said probably the most sincere prayer I've ever said, and I just said, thank you, God. I still have my dad and things are okay. Because for a minute, for a very brief minute, things weren't like that. I lived in a reality, but suddenly that wasn't the case. And yeah, by going through that experience, I was so sincerely reminded of what I have. And, from that day onwards, I've never taken my pops for granted. I've always treasured just what I have. And, that doesn't stay at just my father. That includes now everybody who's precious to me in my life. I can look at my family, I can look at my friends, my boys, and just, be reminded that, I have these things. And it's so easy to just imagine a world where they don't exist. And in this unpredictable and incredibly chaotic life, we don't know what the future holds. So while we have it, let's treasure it. Let's really appreciate what we have. And also just some personal achievements in there. Okay, so, and these words are actually echoed by Reverend Moon, our organization's founder. In this passage, he says, "A grateful heart is the foundation for a life filled with peace and joy." And, I really can testify to that, having experienced that little moment with my dad. Now that I choose to be reminded and choose to value the things that are precious to me, I feel peace and joy, just remembering that they are there. So, secondly, I think what gratitude can achieve and do for us is it can help us to move on from unfortunate events. Like I said, life is unpredictable. Things can happen, unfortunate events can fall upon us unexpectedly, and for sometimes reasons that have nothing to do with our own actions. These kind of events are the ones I want to focus on in times when we do things and life just gives us a deck of cards that we didn't ask for and we really don't think we deserve in any way. Now, this could be an event like, maybe the weather being bad, your tire bursting on the motorway, or it could potentially be the actions of another person. Maybe that person is someone close to you, a close friend or family member, and what they do to you, intentionally or unintentionally, really hurts you. And again, I just like to express this stuff with a little personal story. And for me, recently, a very, very close friend decided to pretty much, this is a friend who I really care about, and I've invested so much into. They pretty much just decided to end our friendship because we could not see eye to eye on something. And, after becoming so close, sharing so much, and being so honest with each other for a long time, hours and hours upon communication and calls, they never want to speak to me again. So, this is something that's happened to me. I didn't ask for it. I don't really feel like I did anything to deserve it. And now I've been left with feelings of pain, betrayal, distrust. And to be honest, guys, it's been pretty hard. But again, this was a decision made by them, and for that reason, it is something completely outside of my control. Now, in this situation, I have two paths I see ahead of me. I can hold on to these feelings of pain and betrayal, or because they were given to me for reasons outside of my control, and I can sit and complain how unfair that is until I die. That's the reaction that requires the least effort, I think. It's the easy thing to do. I can just sit, complain, I have all the right to. Or I can choose to let things go. I can choose to let go of resentment, despite being wronged, Only because it's the best thing for me. It's the thing that supports me, my growth as a human being. And it's and at the end of the day, that's what I really want to do. But this is definitely the harder path. This is the path that requires more intentional effort. And for that reason, it requires strength. Now, for me, this is the path I have chosen. I want to not be resentful, but I want to be able to let go and move forward. But as I said, that requires strength. And how can we summon strength in this situation to do this thing. And I again think it comes down to gratitude. I really think if we practice gratitude in moments like these, we can be reminded of just how good things are, just how much we are truly loved in our relationships. You know, even though this friendship that was so dear to me had to just suddenly end, by choosing gratitude, I can remember that I still have my family, my friends, God. You know, I'm so infinitely loved from all these other places. And even in that friendship, I can think, well, there were great moments for me. There were moments where I grew a lot as a person. I had the chance to mature, very, very much so. And by focusing on those things and choosing intentionally to look at the good, that gives me the strength to let go of that resentment and just forgive. Because that's what I want to do. That's what my original self is telling me to do. So, through this experience, I've also realized that practicing gratitude has the power to move on from these hard times. And once more, these words are echoed with Reverend Moon in this passage where he says, in practicing gratitude, we find the strength to forgive. An attitude of thankfulness allows us to release resentment and embrace love. And again, from my personal story, I can absolutely testify to those words. And now my third point. So gratitude reminds us of our value, helps us overcome trials, and for those reasons, because of what those two things do for us in making us more mature, developed people, I think gratitude brings us closer to our original selves. Now, in the Bible, it is said in Genesis 1:28, to be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it. And in our organization, we have adapted these words into what we call the 3 great blessings, which are to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. And I just want to focus on that first one, to be fruitful, which to me means to strive towards individual perfection, being the most developed and mature person you can be. And I think that by practicing gratitude, appreciating those around you, and letting go of resentment and choosing forgiveness, you are very much so being a more mature and developed person. And just by nature of it, you are becoming closer to your original self, fulfilling that first great blessing. So, yeah, I think just by being our best selves like this, we can really invite good things to happen to us in life, you know. There's a law of attraction, maybe you guys have heard of that. By being good and doing good things, maybe it's karma as well. You invite good things to happen. And in me, personally, I think you invite God and heaven to really dwell within your life. And once more, these words are echoed by now Hak Jahan, the beloved wife of our organization's founder, Reverend Moon. And in this passage, she says, gratitude brings about heavenly fortune. Now, for those of you who attend River South services, you would know these words from our former benediction. And for me, I never really understood these words until recently, and until I made that connection of what gratitude can do for us in bringing us closer to our original selves. And when I read those words, I can really think, yeah, absolutely. You know, by living a life where you practice gratitude, you become a more mature person. You contribute to that first great blessing. And for that reason, you invite God and good things to happen in your life. You invite heavenly fortune to be present in your life.